There is a health warning for this. There's some swearing. Are you all right with that?
I apologise, excuse me.
Collaborators, it's not for you, I'm apologise, I guess. We don't encourage swearing here, but we're not. No one's monitoring. Oh, someone said this or said that, right? So it's within context of what I'm going to be talking about. But I'm giving you the heads up now, and let's go with it. Who's up for it? We're okay? Yeah. We're good. Yeah. Now, the genius slot. Have we explained it enough? I'd like to. How long have I got? Oh, yeah, we've got loads of time. Right, the genius slot.
You don't have loads of time.
The genius slot is where we stretch ourselves. This is where we kind of go a bit further. I have not gone anywhere near as far as I'd like to have gone on this one. Because I knew that you would be here, and you'd be here, and you'd be here, and whoever the guests. So I guess I just didn't want to go that far. But I think you're going to get the message anyway. So that's good news, right? So we don't have to go too far. So what I wanted to talk about is our genius. And I want you to think about how you think about your genius. You know, when I first designed the Be Inspired program and I was going to do this course called Be Inspired, Discover Your Genius, I was confronted, majorly confronted. One, who am I to be talking in front of people about being a genius? What do I know about it? If I'm going to be it, then I've got to prove it. Then I had to deal with all the current standards of how we think of genius. How do you think of genius? Like out there in the world, how do we think of it? Einstein, exactly, right? Who here wants to put their hands up and go, well, I'm an Einstein. But there's genius in every one of us. And part of this community and part of our intention here as a collective is to draw that genius out of each other and encourage it and nurture it in each other. And then when we see it in others, and good, to go, I see your genius and I match you with my genius. And then, I don't know, Terry will come in and go, I'll put my genius on the table as well. What could we achieve? More to the point, what couldn't we achieve? Is that right? You can feel it, can't you? It's palpable, right? So for me, it's innate. It's there already. And the Be Inspired program, by the way, is already working on that. It's already there. It's called Discover. It's already there. It's no, you don't have to go far for it, Jerry. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here. Second thing is unprovoked. And I don't know if I spelled all this correctly because I'm dyslexic as well as don't do numbers. So if you're a left brain freak sitting here going, oh, you spelled that wrong grammar, I apologise now. But it's unprovoked. Who here knows they do something or they see things a certain way that they can't switch off? You just can't switch it off. You can't switch it off. You can't tone it down, but you spent a long time holding it back, I bet. You've never really let it out, maybe. And you know it's in you. Yeah? You know it's in you, don't you? Don't you? And we're here saying together we can draw it out. We can draw it out, Tarek. We can draw out that genius and we can explore it. And we can express it. It's been the theme of our lives. It's been there all along. It's not like even like in the Be Inspired program, people say, God, I never knew that about me. It's like, yeah, you know what? I kind of always have. I've always known that's what I'm about. I was always the odd kid. Who here was the odd kid growing up? You see the kind of crowd we're attracted. Really? I mean, you know, you're telling me Andrew Horder isn't an odd kid?
Cheers.
Yeah. You know, so when he found BeCollaboration, I knew, what did you say? I quote you?
Come home.
I come home. How many people here have said, when they found out about BeCon, they walked in this room and said, I'm home. And you know, we do the orientation, one of the first things I ask people, why did you join? Because no one's asked you to join. Why are you here? The guy just feels like home. I get to be me here. In a really positive, open, collaborative, in a way that it thrives. I get to thrive here. I can plant my roots and they're going to get watered. Others know it too, don't they? Don't they?
Often better than we do.
Don't they? How many of your friends and family, I'm talking about the arseholes, the ones that go, you can't do that. You're never going to amount to anything. I'm talking about the ones that go, you can do it, Stuart. That's your whole family. They say you can do it, or you muppet. No, but we know it. You know, others know it. They do. Terry, there are people that know how amazing you are. You're the one that doesn't get it. Not you personally, sorry. I mean, like,
No, me personally.
Yeah.
Probably true, yeah.
You know, go back to Andrew's talk. You know, he says there's something you're not achieving, consider there's something you're not aligned with. We've got so much potential in this one room, and alignment's off, or we're just out a degree or two. And we're just missing the spot because of some stupid decisions we made when someone stole our lollipop or kicked us in the shin or called us a packy. Because that's what happened to me. And it changed me. Isn't it when we're at our happiest and we forget who we are in the moment? Do you know what I mean? Whether you're your clients or it's professional or it's, you know, you're doing something. Who here does things that make a difference to people's lives and there's nothing in it for you? Nothing. Don't we? We love it. You forget yourself. You forget yourself. You totally forget yourself. So I want to talk about comedy and humour. Okay? Who here likes to laugh? We do, don't we? We do like a laugh, right? Now, one of our core values is fun. The gift of living and laughing. And I think laughing and connecting with us is one way as human beings. It's like I see you, you see me. You know when you laugh with someone, something happens to us. Now, we all know what's funny, right? Don't we? Don't we? Don't we all know what's funny? Don't we all agree on what's funny?
No.
No, exactly, right? So in a community, we want to work out, well, how can I have fun? How can it be funny? How can I interact with others where they get me and I get them? And how do we use humour? Who here really thinks about humour as part of their offering? Not many people. You do? Yeah, well, I do. I do. Humour for me is really important. Having fun and laughing with people is really important. Really important to me, especially when I'm working with my clients or I'm introducing new people. I feel like understanding we have a shared sense of humour gives me a sense of who they really are authentically. Because you can't laugh at something and not be authentic, even if it's the wrong thing to laugh at. Who here, in the last 24 hours, has laughed at something they knew they shouldn't have laughed at? Yeah, exactly, right? Okay, cool, okay. So, what would you say if I gave you the opportunity to come up to the front of the room and tell a joke? What would you say? Would you tell that joke? Angela Makepeace? Would you tell that joke? Would you do a slapstick or would you do something silly? Who are the slapstick silly people that find that kind of stuff funny? Alright, who would be that if they had a couple of drinks? Yeah, oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, okay, what about sexist jokes? Who here has heard a sexist joke or sold one in the last 10 days? Yeah. They go on, don't they? Do we think they're cool? Do we laugh at them? Yeah. How many people here could be perceived sexist when they don't actually think they are being sexist? How would you know? Well, because someone will say to you, hey, that's sexist what you just said, Andrew. And you go, is it? I didn't think it was. I thought it was just, you know. What about racist jokes? How do you think, as a community, we're going to bond and connect if what I think is funny makes you feel terrible? Or Tarek? See, we're surrounded by white people.
So how is that different from sexist?
It isn't. It's just a different flavour. Yeah. It's just a different flavour. But I think there's something in the humour that excludes a certain group and includes a different group, and the other one does the other opposite. I think they both have a certain quality about them. And if you put the telly on and you start noticing what is sexist or racist, but I'm not talking about the telly, I'm talking about you. Because if we're going to collaborate and we're going to connect and we're going to operate from our genius, sometimes we'll say things that are unguarded and you'll go, hey, Erkan, you know that was offensive. And I'll go, ooh. But what do we decide about people once they offend us? Right, well, you know that Gary Stern, forget it. He said shit earlier on. Twice. Do you get my point? How often is already our pathway to collaborating lost because of our values and our standards? See, it's a totally different take on what you're saying. See, those values and standards can get in the way of a lot of things when there's a really good person there that can do things. Listen, I can find racism in any conversation with any one of you white people. Maybe even you. Are you white? No. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
In that racist and as white.
See what I mean? Everyone's a little bit racist. Yeah.
This time of year, it's so difficult.
Exactly. And I'm going to do something a little bit cruel now because I think it's going to be funny. Tarek, can you stand up for a minute? My best friend, one of my best friends, right? Stand up. If he sat next to you on the bus, how would you feel?
Sexy.
But don't you feel it, don't you? Because we live in a really white area, and sometimes things, the way people react to us or the way they engage with us is different. Now, is it or is it us?
It's not me.
It's not me.
It's not me.
But you know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Are there certain jokes you can hear and go, and then suddenly, hey, that's not funny, stop it. Yeah. Because you've been conditioned. You grew up in Nazing. Yeah, same, I grew up in Hertfordshire. Thank you very much. Can we acknowledge that? You didn't expect that. Some comedy, some humour is observational. Who knows the observational stuff? Yeah, we like that because that kind of seems fair, doesn't it? Seems fair, no one gets hurt. That kind of humour's fine. We like that, don't we? Yeah, okay, cool. Who here could do an observational joke? Have you noticed that every time you go into a networking meeting, people pass their cards around, blah, blah, blah. What about the weird stuff? Who likes the weird stuff? I know who you are. Well, yeah. Well, then that says a lot about you, Colin, because you know you're weird, right? You are definitely one of the most weirdest people here. Definitely. So tell me, what kind of humour do you like? That you think most people here wouldn't get? Because that was like, was it Mortimer Reeves and Mortimer was a bit weird, wasn't it? Yeah. The big, was it oh, I can't remember. Booge, yeah, Shooting Stars a bit weird. Like, my dad will go, what's funny about this? This is stupid. So kind of, you know, can say like, you know, like in a community. But you see, look, see if I want to expand here. In a community, we're all a bit weird to someone. Now, one of the things, Gary, you're going to love this, right? I'm sorry, mate, but I'm going to do this to you, right? Jewish joke, is it? No. Jill would go away. When I first met Jill, she'd go away and go, I met this really weird guy. No, but he's really great, but he's really weird. I guess, what's his name? Gary Stern. I said, invite him down. I want the weird ones. Pull the weirdos in, right? So every time Jill and I go out, we come back and I met a really weird guy and a woman today. And then they go, yeah, quick, invite him. So really, by definition, you're all the weirdos. Cultural. We could have cultural. You know, I know... you know, because being multicultural, because I was born in England, my parents were from Cyprus, I spent a lot of time in Turkey, and different things are really funny in different places. And other places you kind of go, yeah, and then he said, and then no one's laughing. Because in this culture, that isn't really funny. So we are living in a multicultural, you know, modern era. You know, we're going to be sitting next to people from all sorts of backgrounds, Jewish, Islamic, what was yours, Methodist. No, what a bunch of mismatched human beings we're putting in a room. How are we going to... Huh?
They drink meths.
They drink meths all day. See, now that could be offensive, Barry. Jill might have to put a little mark them up, right? But we just don't know. So if we're going to start collaborating, we've got to kind of be aware that these things are going to come up. But do they actually mean as much as we think they do? Do they mean that much? So I'm going to... This is a little clip from about 8 years ago. Who here has had a challenging point in their life? Right, I imagine that's everybody, right? I about 8 years ago was looking at my life and thinking, really, what do I want to be doing with my life, right? And I know I like funny things, and I know I like being in front of the room, and I know I like making people laugh. So I thought I'm going to try on some stand-up comedy, right? Now, I would say probably one of the most hardest things on the planet to do, if you want a real challenge, is go to a stand-up course and then deliver it to 200 people. And this is a clip from my first video. Right? Now, bearing in mind, this is pre-Jill, BeCollaboration, pre-coaching, a long time ago. But I want you to listen out for what is the message that I'm really saying. So through humour, what can we deliver in terms of our message? And it's a really powerful medium. How are we doing, gang? My name's Erkan Ali, okay? Turkish Cypriot name. My dad named me. He also wrote a book, How to Get Your Kids Beaten Up at School. And the gist of the book is, called him Erkan Ali and sent them to a school in Hertfordshire, white kids, and that was it. Bang! Whoa, lovely. But you know, that was, you know, my name's Turkish Cypriot name. That's not the only name I was being called when I was at school. Because kids was confused back in the 80s, they didn't know what Turkish Cypriot was. So they called me things like Paki. And Paki was a real favourite, you know, it was like the sign of times. What you think was it? Prince Harry was the first one to use Paki. Kids have been saying it for decades. And anyway, so I go to school, and there's all sorts of names like Wog and Coon. I'm like, what? Turkish Cypriot! Wow! centuries of relatives who ruled the world for hundreds of years. Bubble. Got myself a problem here. Bubble and Greek. Bubble, squeak, like Greek. Greek. Turkish Cypriot Greek. I'm thinking this is not working, this is not happening, right? I'm saying, well, it's like calling some English person French or German or South Londoner, right? I'm like, I'm speaking to people from South London tonight. I mean, I'm not that far off, right? So I'm going to have to deal with this. I'm going to have to deal with this. You know, my dad's first advice at school was if anyone picks on you, punch him on the nose and run really fast. So you go through your mind, you know, try and work this out, strategize the way out of this, right? So I say to them, you know, my friends, I say to them, listen, you know, as a way of defending myself, I say, listen, I'm not black or Asian, I'm olive skin Mediterranean, and shaka yaka. That didn't work, by the way, still got things. But what I realised is that, you know, this racialism thing, yeah, we won't get too heavy about it. I think, you know, we're going into a new era. It's a new era for us, you know, we're all one, yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, right. So I think to myself, you know what, these people who are like taunting me, they're like blind people just poking me with a stick. See which one will get a result. Packy, oh, no good. What? Oh, that's a good one, yeah, let's go again. And I'm like, oh, no, stop it, you hurt me. Sticks and stones, but we're going to do with her. So I say, so why don't you fucking wankers Google something, yeah? We're going to be racist, put some effort into it, work it. You know, look into my culture, go into my history, find some good shit to talk me with. But it turns out that people are just equal opportunity haters. They just hate everybody. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't know, is it racist or is it just a matter about what's going to get the biggest reaction? Yeah? I think that's what it's about. And I think if it's equal, then maybe all this racism is fair. That's 20 years of therapy to be able to say that, I'll tell you. So if it's equal, maybe all this racism is fair. So that was my first attempt of doing stand-up, and the interesting thing was we were told to prepare 5 minutes. I did 17 minutes. They have to pull me off the stage. Could you believe it? But it was amazing because for me, it's probably why I'm here now, because I didn't choose a life of stand-up. And I think I could have done it. I think when I look at that 8 years ago, first attempt, I think I could have done it. But you know what? And in my humour, there's clear messages. There's clear messages about racism. I did one around money. I did one around cultures and all sorts of things. It was for me, I wasn't up there just to make people laugh. I wanted them to think. And through humour, letting people let the guard down so they can engage with information in a way that maybe no other medium really touches it. And for me right now, if I listen to the bravest, most outrageous stand-up comedians, they're the ones actually saying anything of any value at the moment. Because it's definitely not our politicians. So, you know, think about it. What is your favourite joke? Does it put someone else down? Does it put you down? Does it actually show the world, does it show how ridiculous some of the things we do as human beings are? You know, why did the chicken cross the road? I always wondered, why?
I don't know,
Who's let
three of them in the road the other day.
Yeah, but who lets them out? Why are you letting your chickens out, right? Knock, knock. You know, all the stable ones, yeah? And how many BeColl members does it take to transform a light bulb? Seriously. What does it say about us, our humour? You know, think about that. You know, answers on a postcard. How many collaborators does it take to change a light bulb? How would we handle it? Because if you put, I don't know, consultant there, or coach, or accountant, our prejudices get in the way of seeing the value in other people. One of the things I said from the beginning when I met Jill was, I just have a knack of finding great people. Getting what's in their way to protect them out of the way so I can see them for who they are. The weirder, the wilder, the better, the more outrageous. Not as weird as Jerry, we had to do a lot of work on Jerry. 2 Be Inspired programs, he's been here 3.5 years and we've still got a long way to go, haven't we, Jerry? Yeah. You know, the man walks into the bar. Joke. And then how does humour get in the way? Does it get, you know, I kind of already started to touch on it. How does it get in the way of, how often is our humour inappropriate? Really? You know, when you're in front of the room, accomplices, maybe you're saying something that doesn't work. Maybe people in your trades, you're doing something, saying something in a way that doesn't make the difference, doesn't get the buy-in. It could be inappropriate. Now, I'm not saying this to stifle you or to turn you down. I'm asking you to think about you and how you use humour to develop and deepen your relationships with people. Because you can't get it right all the time, I promise you. No one ever does. What about offensive? What about satire? How are we using satire to forward our businesses? These are powerful mediums. If you think about it, all the best adverts, the ones we really remember, the funny ones. You know, there are expert companies out there with expert knowledge of human behaviour. They know exactly how to get our attention. And humour is a major tool. So I didn't want this to be just something about comedy, but actually how are we thinking about humour? Who are we aligning with through that? In fact, there are some people at the moment, and this is a heads up for some of you, that free speech has got there's a big attack on free speech at the moment. Massive. Some of you may be aware, some of you might not be. I'm not going to go into the they bit. Right? At the moment, you could end up with a criminal record for saying or doing something that could be illegal. There's a guy with a Hitler dog got prison sentence, and recently a lady got a 100 years, a comedian, 100 hours community service because of a satire piece she did. So we are actually starting to lock people up and arrest them because of what they're saying. This is new. This is new but very old as well. And we think we live in a free society, don't we? Yeah? We used to be, right? Now, I don't want to leave it on a downer. So I thought I'd show you one example of what I think is really great humour. And like I said, I didn't go as far as I could have done, but I think he does nail it. So, oh, sorry. One more slide, and then I'm going to that clip. Right, so how does humour help us in dating? Who here is looking for a date? I'm available after. No, I'm joking. Right, so,
No, we have a date.
do you know, but you ask girls, like, what kind of guy, I want someone who makes you laugh. How many guys have you met that can actually make you laugh? Yeah.
You make me laugh when knickers fall off. It's terrible.
Hey!
Like, straight away.
I rest my case.
No, yeah, in general. Like,
Oh, okay. What about with business? Yeah. What about with business? How often do, you know, who here has really great, fun relationships with their clients? And they can laugh, and you can feel free. Great, it's fantastic. What about in uncomfortable situations? You know, like when we feel awkward, like you want to tell a joke, and it's like people think you're even more weird, right? And what about illness and depression or sadness? You know, they say one of the best medicines is laughter. You know, laugh and the whole world laughs with you. You know, how often do you spend during the week working on laughing and enjoying yourself? Some of you probably not as much as you could do. And I say to you, because before I did my stand-up, who here knows that I'm obsessive and I get into things like, you know, I think you kind of probably most people. I did hours, hundreds of hours of research into comedy, comedians, styles, how they changed over the time, how they do it from slaps, you know, how they write a joke, how you sentence it. Obviously, you can't tell that from my bit I did earlier on, but I did do all that research. Anyway, in the community, how are we going to use humour in our community? Because we're all from different backgrounds, we all have different culture, we have different standards and ideals, but on some level we are aligning because there's something about what we're achieving here that says, I want to be here. And I say, have fun with the people around you. Because when you're going home from here, that will be the things that you'll remember. The joke you had with Simon, the giggle you had with Terry about, wasn't that cool? Wasn't that funny? Do you remember that moment? And this is Michael McIntyre, and I think Michael McIntyre doing what he does best, and I'll be off in 3 minutes. Oh.
Quick element that's really bugging at the moment is people who have the same name that is spelled completely differently. I'm so sorry for all of you people, and I know there are many in this room tonight. It's such an odd, unnecessary waste of your life. Like Sarah with an H, or Sarah without an H. Sarah without an H is pronounced like this. Sarah. And with an H. Sarah. Sarah has spent the whole of her life going, is Sarah, with an H, that's with an H. Is that with an H? No, there's no H. Sorry, there's an H, you put an H, there's no H, there's actually no H. What a waste of life. Stuart, with a W, is pronounced like this. Stuart, without a W, Stuart. What are you doing? It's not like it's, what's your name? Stuart. And you are Stewart. Stewart. This is my wife, Sarah. And Sarah. Come in, Stewart. This is Stewart. Come and meet the others. It's Stephen and Stepan. Just say hello. Stewart and Sarah. Stephen and Stepan. Oh, it isn't Jeff and Geoff. Join the party. Jim and Gil. Jeff, I forget who's with who. Jill is with Geoff and Jeff is with Jill. This is Stewart. Stewart. Stephen and Stepan and Sarah. This is the three Seans. Do join the party. We've got Sean, Sean, and Sean. Come on in.
Sean.
Sean. This is Stewart, Stephen, Stepan, Jeff, Geoff, Jill, Gil, and Sarah. What a waste of life. Just continue applauding. If you have one of these names that comes with a little story. You poor things. Suffering. What's your name? Hannah. With an H. Hannah with an H. Oh, at the end. I thought you'd been unnecessarily explaining the spelling of your name. It's like going Michael with an N. Who else? What's your name? Wayne. Everyone's laughing because there's only one way to spell it. Your parents decided to do. W-A-I-N. That's just a massive error. You need to do that. One.
Erkan with a... Oh, God. Turn off. That URN. Right, thank you very much, everybody. I love you.